Hello everyone, Brick Horizon here, and this time we have an alternate build of the yet-to-be-released 75413 Juggernaut/Turbo Tank. You can't even buy this set yet, but today I'm going to tell you how I managed to get this mock out early and some of the choices I made along the way while designing it. Before I get into the video, I'd like to mention that the instructions have also been released before the set, and you can find them on Rebrickable with the link in the description. One of the newest LEGO Star Wars sets, the Juggernaut, or previously known in the LEGO community as the Turbo Tank, has lost what made it very turbo. If you've seen the reviews online, or have even looked at it yourself, you can see the glaring issues. Whether it's the instability, the size, the large gaps in the back, or the fact that the minifigures don't even match the set they came in, you'll be able to appreciate what I have cooked up. Before the picture of the sets even leaked, I knew I wanted to make an alternate build as soon as possible. Once the first pictures came out, I started thinking of ways to use the pieces to make a UT-AT. These are two very different vehicles. The turbo tank has 10 large wheels, which usually wouldn't be that much of a problem since it should only be about 20 extra pieces. But LEGO decided that this set didn't have enough pieces and it needed to be brick built, so it gained over 100 pieces that were used to make the wheels. I think LEGO making smaller sets doesn't have to be a bad thing, but they unfortunately proved me wrong in this set. Now on to the UT-AT. It took me long enough to get here, but when I first saw the images, the brick-built wheels gave me an idea. The curved round slopes that make up the wheels make a really nice shape and are pretty thin, so I decided to use them as the hover treads on the bottom of the vehicle, and they ended up looking perfect. After that, I started to create the shell since I knew I needed to prioritize the looks with the pieces I could see, but at this point I didn't know what all of the pieces in the turbo tank were. This set hadn't even been released yet, and neither Rebrickable nor the LEGO Group has shown us the instructions or the pieces. This is when I started reaching out to several LAN members until JB Spielwarren made an Instagram post showing off the Juggernaut and the back of the instructions with all the pieces on the back of it. I jumped out of my chair to share the news and started to transcribe what I saw immediately. It took about an hour of squinting, but I soon found everything I needed to make this alternate build. One of the earliest ideas I had was taking the stud shooters and putting them on top of the three giant cannons. The two on the sides needed to be really big, so I made sure they extended slightly past the front of the vehicle. This next extra detail might be partially obscured by the giant guns on the side, but I saw that on the UT-AT there is a small Republic insignia. I didn't think about actually adding it because the turbo tank doesn't come with any printed or stickered parts that look like that. Except I noticed this while trying to figure out what to do with the studs. Yes, even the studs are accurate details. So they now represent the Republic's logo. Next is the cannon on top, as this was the last one I made, and it went through a few design iterations before I landed on a version that let it rotate and move up and down while being able to keep the stud shooter and look good enough to display and hold a minifigure. The actual pilot's area was another one of the things that I had started thinking about right away. While I didn't know exactly how it would look, I had the general idea of using the transparent blue pieces for the window and the dark red for the top details. I also made sure to include all of the guns and sensors on the bottom too. One of the details that you might miss if you don't build this for yourself is how I was able to use the stickered parts to my advantage. The turbo tank doesn't come with many dark red pieces. In fact, it only comes with 4, but these are already in use. The UT-AT has this red line on either side of the cockpit, and I found out the perfect way to get this detail in. The back of the turbo tank has 2 pieces that make it feel like it was made on purpose so that the UT-AT could be rebuilt out of this set. Just make sure that as you assemble this alternate build, that you put the red part of the sticker near the edge. The last detail on the front half is going to be on the bottom. While you won't notice it normally, while you're building or flipping over the UT-AT, you might see these 4 upside down round pieces. These are either fans or extra repulsor lifts to keep the tank from being off balance. Moving to the back, I wanted to stop by the side cannons and look at the dark gray detail. It might be some kind of extra storage, but I even included this. The pieces were available from the bottleneck of the Juggernaut and gave me the perfect way to detail the set. The top of the UT-AT is another part that I am very happy with. There are 4 extra guns on the top, and that made me worried that I wouldn't have enough pieces to pull from that would make it look like this. But I noticed that the turbo tank had the frying pan pieces on the side for greebling that could act as guns. I was also worried I wouldn't be able to get the detailing of the divot in the middle of the UT-AT until I found a large gray piece that would work. The back of the UT-AT is another area where I managed to get use out of the large 6x6 round plates. I wish I could have used all of them, but instead I blessed this UT-AT with some unique features. One of the things that I actually liked about the original set that this alternate build is based on is how they managed to cram the minifigures in, and I mean that in a good way. Although the Juggernaut wasn't as accurate as it should have been, one of the things that they did right was using the space at the bottom appropriately. There is a divot in the middle of the set that allows the minifigures to stand and fit inside the vehicle without being too cramped. I took this concept to the next level and made it so that the minifigures can sit inside of where the hover treads are because it would be too short to sit anyway. The interior doesn't just end there. If you open up the front of the ship, you get 3 extra seats, one for the driver, who you can see through the large window in the front, and two that could be operating the giant guns on the sides. The driver actually gets a bucket handle that was used in the original turbo tank as the controls for the gun on the back. While the original set only came with 5 minifigures, this UTAT has 8 seats, including the giant gun on the top. Luckily, all the pieces from that original set came together very nicely and allowed me to make this awesome alternate build of a vehicle that we otherwise would have never gotten. So if you enjoyed this video, then don't forget to like and subscribe. If you're interested in finding the instructions for the alt build of the UTAT for the Juggernaut set 75413, then you can find them on Rebreakable or in the link in the description. Also, leave a comment to let me know what you think of this alternate build or what other mocks you'd like to see from me in the future. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.